What's up, guys? We have this weekend, we have UFC 292 in Boston. Main event, Aljamain Sterling against Sean O'Malley. We have some interesting picks for you from the main event, so stay tuned.
Are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, I'm getting
What's up, brother?
not,
Yeah, nice and smooth.
I'm getting better. I guess like practice makes it perfect. They are not lying about that.
Yeah, you even got a better camera setup than I do currently.
Yeah, I guess
Uh,
Conor destroy your camera. Who knows what he was doing?
yeah, I don't know. I let him borrow this room for a week, and now half my shit's not working. And he gave me COVID, I'm pretty sure. So,
Yeah, that's most likely, guys. So
yeah,
you
my
know.
camera isn't working, my taste isn't working, my smell isn't working, but it's all good. I'm staying hydrated anyway. I got some liquid death,
Oh,
severed lime.
I'm
Do you
dry.
drink anything?
I'm
You're
dry
dry?
in the middle of the day, so nothing. I have water here, and that's it.
All right. For the record, this is also water. I'm not day drinking. Not yet. That's for tomorrow.
Okay, you are not drinking.
Well, we got a stacked card. You already said Aljo and O'Malley, but how about you read us off some of the rest of the fights we got?
Yeah, so we have also for the title in strawweight, we have Zhang Weili against Amanda Lemos. We have Neil Magny last week or 10 days replacement against Ian Machado Garry. We have Diamond Blackshear, fast return to the cage. He fought last weekend and he's jumping in again against Mario Bautista. We have Marlon Chito Vera against Pedro Munoz. That's our main event, main card. Main card. We're just gonna do the breakdown of those fights. Like you see here, we have like 10 minutes each. We're gonna do it fast, furious, and let's start it. You wanna go first? I think you have to go first. It's up to you.
Did I go first last time, or you went first last time?
I don't know. Maybe you did. Oh, or no, I think I did, but I can go again. Never mind. I can be generous. You have to call it.
Yeah, go for it, brother. I'm a little slow today.
Okay, let's start from the main event. Let me just start the timer. It's,
Nice picture. Whoever made this pick, A plus.
don't steal my time. Yeah, you see the giant against the small guy in the main event. Okay, let's get it serious. My time is running. Okay, main event. We have like here typical clash of styles. Like even though we are in the era of modern MMA, we can say here we have a basically grappler against striker. And um, analyzing like their both games and how they fought, I think Aljo will have a problem. Like even against Jan, he had a problem, but Jan is like just making the pressure by walking forward and not throwing the punches that much. He's more like a counter, rarely going first, but like he's pressuring you with the body. Sean O'Malley is using the same thing, but he's using his strikes. So I think that's gonna be the biggest problem from Aljo in this fight. On the other hand, like what I noticed, like a big gap in the O'Malley's um, game is something that Aljo is really good in doing, and that's taking the back. And if you notice, guys, how Sean O'Malley is like getting up and from some positions, he's really turning his back, and I think that can be really big uh, problem for him in this fight. But let's see, like I think both guys are having a chance, and when you see the Aljo such a big favorite, I just don't like playing that, so I decided to try my luck with O'Malley, even though I don't like him that much. I want to jump on that train because I missed the Conor train. Maybe on this train I can cash in and get some money. So let's see how it goes. Up to you.
I want to talk about that Conor train later, but for now, just this fight, I'm just hoping that we actually get a proper fight. No contest due to injuries or fouls, no weird injuries where like TJ's shoulder is hanging out or O'Malley breaks his ankle in the first round, anything like that. Because when these guys get into proper fights, it's exciting. And why is it exciting? Aljamain Sterling, he's got probably some of the best grappling in MMA right now. Not just wrestling, not just jiu-jitsu, but he blends it great to take the back. And when he's on the back, he can finish. And what I've noticed lately is because he's able to finish from the back, a lot of these guys will just kind of give up that round and not even try to escape, or try to escape, but go back and forth kind of between mount control and back control. And this is where Aljo really thrives once he gets a hold of you. Like you said, it is kind of like a classic grappler versus striker. So if O'Malley can keep him at a distance, he actually has a solid chance at connecting on Aljo. Most recently, 9 fights ago, because Sterling is on a 9-fight win streak. The last time he lost was by a KO shooting in for a takedown. So there, you definitely see ways where either guy can win. But when it comes down to it, I think the way that O'Malley even got to this point, he kind of got an easier road. And I say that being quite a big fan of O'Malley. I am on that O'Malley train. But compared to Sterling, he's fought the best of the division. O'Malley said it himself. He's kind of the best bantamweight that the UFC has seen right now. So, I think part of the skill set of his grappling, and then also that he is so battle tested against the best, that's going to suit him really well, provided he could stay away from Sean O'Malley's power. Some of what Sean O'Malley dealt with against Peter Yan, who is mostly a striker, those few grappling exchanges, he really looked visibly exhausted after those. He was able to win. Some people thought he lost that fight, but the judges gave him the fight. And if you're getting that exhausted in a 3-round fight against a striker like Peter Yan, imagine what 5 rounds of grappling against Sterling is going to look like. So, I'd be happy to see Sean O'Malley win. I think that would make the division super interesting. It's already interesting. But I would just have to go with Aljo, the reigning champ, try and true. He might have a questionable chin. I don't even know if it's that questionable. He just went face first into that knee of Marlon Moraes. So as long as he could set up his takedowns, get O'Malley against the cage, I think this is his fight. I think it's going to be a solid defense and a good fight as long as nobody gets injured. So already we're kind of differing on this first fight. Next up, Weili Zhang versus Amanda Lemos. Take it away, Alex.
Yeah, so I think this one can be really interesting, and I think it's not gonna go to decision. If you look how these ladies operate, and there is big chance that we're gonna see a finish inside of the 5 rounds. So they're both interesting fact. They're both 7-2 in UFC. Only 2 defeats that Weili has is from Rose Namajunas. The second one, we can also go now, was it or not, on decision. The first one, somebody will say that was the surprise kick, this, that. But anyway, first time that we saw her in that rematch, that she was hesitant because of that KO, I think, and she didn't play her game when she pushed forward. She's really trying to hurt the opponent. And her style and what she's doing can be here also backfiring to her, because we know Amanda Lemos has that power, So, but more or less when you look from all ladies, rarely who has that consistency of the wins, and that experience of the championship rounds and everything, if you take again, I said Rose out of the equation, saying everything to me that this should be easy victory for Weili, But again, dangerous opponent. We can see upset here in this match. I would just not put that much money on me. How I like the underdogs, but I think Sean O'Malley is much better underdog than Amanda Lemos. But I'm not taking out that we can see also upset in this one, because Amanda has a power in her hands, and she knows she has like a way how to finish the fights, and that's something that you guys should be careful. I'm gonna go with Bailey, but I'm gonna be double cautious on this one.
Yeah, no, I would have to agree, and this is a very interesting matchup if you look at their strengths versus their weaknesses. Zhang Weili. One of the things that really impressed me in her last fight was her grappling against Carla Esparza. Carla Esparza is one of the better grapplers, one of the better wrestlers in that division right now, and she was able to nullify all the takedowns, reverse, and eventually get into that rear crucifix, a position I really like to kind of grapple from. You don't see it that much in MMA, and she was able to get the rear naked choke with the arm trap. And I think that's going to play in really well against Amanda Lemos, someone who has some of the highest knockout percentages in women's fighting right now. I looked it up. She has a 50% KO ratio, not just between her fights, but I'm sorry, not just between her wins, but her fights total. 50% of the time, she's knocking you out. Compared to one of the heavier hitters in that division, Jessica Andrade. Jessica Andrade is only 25%, right? Even if you move up a couple weight classes to Amanda Nunes, she's even higher than Amanda Nunes, who's only 46%. So that just speaks to the finishing ability of Amanda Lemos, and that's why I think it's really important for Zhang Weili to make it a grappling match, at least a little bit, to take away some of the pop from Amanda Lemos. And fortunately for Zhang Weili, yeah, she suffered the knockout to Rose, but I think she showed in the rematch. I personally thought she won that fight, that she can actually hang striking with her. She can hang striking with Joanna Jędrzejczyk, who eventually she knocked out with that spinning KO. So I do think this is Zhang Weili's fight right here. This is going to be another solid defense from her, as long as she can find a way to mitigate that knockout power, whether taking her down, or at least getting some blood in Lemos's arm, some lactic acid to kind of take some of that pop. She definitely has the skill set and the experience to do it. She's fought some of the best in the division: Carla Esparza, Rose, Joanna, and she's got wins, in my opinion, over all of them. So it's going to be a tough task for Amanda Lemos, and that's why I'm going with Zhang Weili to defend her title.
Bro, you have only 4 minutes left and 3 matches. Okay, let's go to the next one. Don't steal my time. So we have Neil Magny, like I said, 10 days late replacement, jumping in to go against Ian Garry, undefeated. We cannot say even prospect. Is he a prospect? He is becoming like some small star, not a superstar, but like he's getting there. So honestly, like you can see the odds, like it's minus 485 on Ian Garry, and that's something like you're gonna later see in the parlays. I took it out. I left it on Patrick Swan. But like, is it really worth it? Even if he wins this one, and to underestimate it so much, Neil Magny, what he did, yeah, like he has like I think 30 UFC matches. That's a huge experience, and maybe like even in this fight, he will enter without any how to say heavy burden on him, because just like he's taking like a fight on 10 days notice, he will maybe do his best performance, and like to be easy to finish by strikes, I don't think so. Like I think only two people did that in 30 matches, if I don't remember good, Larkin, and I don't know who else stopped him. Everything else that he was losing on stoppage, it was by the submissions. And I don't see that Ian is gonna go for submission. So in the stand up, if Neil Magny managed to get it, like to close the distance, start wrestling, get his arms tired, and then use that experience to make an upset in this case, and I can see him, like at least making it a tough match. I pick Ian Garry because like he's on 5 fights win streak. I mean, or 12. He's really good. And what we saw, like even when he got in his match against Song, when he got like pretty good, almost got finished. He managed to come back. Show maturity, show like a connecting the combination, and managed to get finish in the third round. So I think he's someone who we should get serious, and I think he'll get at this one. But just I'm not gonna put it on my parlay. Up to you.
I don't have that much time left, so I won't talk about how much I hate the shtick that Ian Garry is stealing from Conor McGregor outright. But that being said, I do think he's going to win, despite Neil Magny probably having a great style to fight Ian Garry. He's a pressure fighter. He can weaponize his cardio, his conditioning, and he's got the experience to kind of deal with someone like Ian Garry. That being said, it is, like you said, 10 days notice. I think on 10 days notice, even if he's generally in good shape, is he in fight shape to really weaponize the cardio that he usually does? I'm going to lean towards Ian Garry for this reason. He's put a full fight camp in. I thought that he looked almost perfect against Daniel Rodriguez. He's shown that even if he gets hit and he gets dropped like he did against, his name escapes me, that Asian fellow like 2 fights ago, he's got the heart and the willpower to come back anyway. So I think, sky's the limit for this kid. I wish he would just get away from recycled Conor McGregor lines. I'm talking about the trash talk, not the other lines that Conor McGregor is dealing with nowadays.
That's the good one.
So I'm going with Ian Garry on this one.
Okay, let's go to me. Let's hurry up. I don't want to steal your time. Okay, so in this one, I'm going to keep it pretty short. This is like I said, Damon jumping. He fought last weekend. He's jumping for this weekend. That's the biggest issue in this one. Even though he had a pretty amazing performance, got a submission twister. I don't know how much like this weight cut and everything will take a toll. And we have a guy who is coming prepared for even, let's say, tougher competition, bigger name. He was like really motivated probably to get that W under his belt. I don't know how much even this messed up his brain, So we have so many things that like X factor for this matchup, So I just decided to go with a guy who's going to be more fresher, and who is, I think, better prepared for this match, because like fighting 2 weekends in a row, you're not prepared. But like again, there is that X factor. You don't have anything to lose, just to gain for this. So Damon maybe again gonna have, or Damon will have that week that's gonna keep his stock so high, if he get that victory. So he knows what he can win from this, So we're gonna see probably like ultra motivated guy that trying to get to the level of some of the stars, So many equation, So from psychological aspect, so I decided to go with Mario. But let's see. I wouldn't be surprised that Damon gets the victory here.
I'm going with Mario on this one. He's got more UFC experience. He's got good submissions. He's actually got 3 submissions back to back to back, and a lot of them rear naked chokes. So I do know he's familiar enough to attack from the back, probably can defend a twister. I haven't seen that much from Blackshear, although his quick twister finish last week was impressive. He didn't take much damage, and that's why he's in this fight this weekend. That being said, I think the experience of Mauro Batista is going to kind of shine in this one. But man, if Damon or Damon can get 2 wins 2 weekends in a row, that would be the fastest back-to-back wins. And we've seen some quick ones, especially in the beginning of the lockdown. So to see that would be kind of incredible. I wouldn't be mad if I'm wrong for this pick. But I got to go Mario Batista. Unfortunately, it's on short notice, but it's on short notice for both of these guys. And both of these guys are kind of fresh because Damon didn't take much damage, and he had a full camp for his fight last weekend. So it's kind of like an old school like fight where you don't really have much time to prepare for that actual guy. You just show up and fight, and that's kind of cool about this. I think more often than not, the better fighter will win, not the better fighter who game plans for a specific opponent. So that's cool about this. I'm going with Mario.
Okay, sounds good. And we are on the last one. Chito Vera against Pedro Munoz. I think this is the one that we also pick opposites, opposite side to win. So I'm gonna go with Pedro. I just think his style, can bring him that unanimous decision against Vera. Uh, Again, I can see Marlon Vera winning by KO. Uh, he has that power. He managed to find like a way to find the weak point and utilize. Like we saw how he finished Dominic Cruz, Frankie Edgar. Uh, so, but like now it's like a 3 rounds, so he doesn't even have that 4 and 5 rounds where he can maybe turn it on. And we know he's slow starter. Pedro is starting from the start. Like we saw, even he won the first round against the guy who is gonna fight for a title. He lost only from the top dogs. And he always shows up. There is rarely that you can see that he didn't show up and try to do his best. And honestly, Vera is there with the top dogs. But he's not like a top dog. So I'm gonna pick Munoz for this one, and I'm gonna let it to you.
Time.
And okay, I have still like 14 seconds, yeah or no?
No, I think it just recycled back into 14 minutes.
Okay,
So
okay.
you're down, brother.
I did. I finished. I said mine.
Yeah, that's true. You got it in.
Up to you.
All right, I gotta be fast, but I've gone back and forth with this fight. I think Munoz is the more consistent fighter throughout the fights. Like you said, he's a fast starter, and from round 1 to round 3, he kind of brings that same energy. Marlon Vera, he kind of, despite getting a lot of knockouts, I think that's kind of his weakness, is that he waits too much for the knockout instead of setting it up and being consistent. So that's what kind of gets him to lose the fight until he wins it. Dominic Cruz, I thought he was losing that fight. Same thing with Frankie Edgar, and eventually he found that head kick knockout. So I think Munoz is the better fighter, the more consistent fighter, but on short notice. And then also, it's hard to say it's lucky because he gets these head kicks so often, but I just think Vera's going to pull it off again. Even if he's losing, I think he's going to knock this guy out. So I'm going to go with Chito Vera just because he's consistently lucky.
That sounds like a good prediction because he's consistently lucky. Okay, I can get rid of our timer. We are not playing chess anymore. Now we can go a little bit maybe in the deeper breakdown. I don't know. Did we miss saying something that it's maybe relevant for the guys to know, or we can?
Well, actually, we've kind of mentioned it individually, but this is a crazy fight card just because 3 fights are on short notice. Have you noticed that?
Yeah. We had some
This is
changes, and
like we shit on the UFC sometimes for putting so many fights on so many cards, and some of them aren't really worth talking that much about. But 3 fights fell out, and they managed to still keep them on the card with a really strong card. So I do have to give them props for that. It's still a heavy card.
Yeah, I agree. But like again, even like I thought it's gonna be only 10 matches, and they squeeze out like 2 more, and they were not posting anywhere. Like it's really hard to track, like week in, week out. And I think I spent a lot of time, and I just saw how is now 12 fights. I don't even know when they squeeze in 2 or 3 more. Like to be honest, like I don't even know what was the final count. I still
Bro, Chris Weidman's on this card. He's on the prelims. Can you believe it?
Yep. Him and Tavares, like 2 long time veteran. That's gonna be an interesting one, like I still didn't start breaking that one down. I started like from the beginning of the preliminary card, and the one that I really found, and I think it's really good odds, is like Kurt uh, Hollowbach, or however, like against Austin Hubbard. I think like that's like I think plus one almost 200, something like that, and that's something that I'm gonna keep my eye on, like for now, from these matches that I saw so far. Talking about like watching fights, breaking down the fights. I don't know. Did you see? I post one video by myself a few days ago. I even did a little bit editing, so I went about some things about betting, this, that. Only three people watched that video, and I think my mom watched it twice, two different IP address, even though she doesn't speak English. So it's really weird. Like I think a lot of guys that making, and now like I don't know, did you notice when you go predictions, this, that, like how many more different guys like predicting the fights? And honestly, I don't know how long you need to prepare, like to prepare the whole card, see everything. I'm like, guys, you're full of shit. I think they're just copying paste or just saying something to say. And it's so weird. Like, and I don't know. So I was like just looking and between the things, and then I start like, fuck, I need to record the video, and I start putting some shit about some guys that they're like promoting over there, putting some headlines, and they're like shit content. You know, I'm not saying anything. I saw so many interesting things, and it made me change in my betting game. But like, I think 95% is like total crap.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we need to put our picks up against theirs. Maybe start some feuds, and so it's not just our moms watching.
I
Bring some
guess like
eyeballs.
I guess that's what you have to do in modern society. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna still try to stay, like talking about that. I had a really good weekend last week. I had a couple bad weekends. I fell down to 250. Now I managed to double up my bankroll, so I'm now on 500. If you go on the slides, or let's go first what we have for this weekend, ours. So yeah, this is our picks for this weekend. So we have only main event and the first one on the card that we went separate ways. Everything else pretty much same. I mean, same. So if you go, this is yours, Patrick. I even put Ian Garry for you. You can get, I guess, go to the McDonald's 48. Uh, on mine, I even took Ian Garry out, so you're gonna have on 1091. And I even made a screenshot. Like if I would leave him on the card, it would be like how much? 110, I think, something like that. So that's for our bets for this weekend, and let's go to the previous weekend. What I had, yeah, I had a pretty solid one. I hit this parlay with AJ Dobson, Colin Lowry, Yasmin Locindo, Vincent Luque, so I was good there. 56. I hit really nice parlay with the as it going to distance or no. There was only 4 fights that went to distance. I managed to pick them. So on $1, I managed to make 120, and also I had that same parlay. I did it 6 out of 7, or I don't know how you call it here, round robin, and I managed to hit on I think 120, 85 more. So on the $2, I made 200. So that's pretty good. Also, I had this parlay. I was good. I was picking up. I mean, all favorites came more or less, and rarely I pick favorites, but I miss only last two. And I had also that 10 out of 11, and I was waiting only for RDA, but I did put some money on Cap Swanson, and that was my first bet, so I was already good there. And I decided I had some other parlays that I was waiting for RDA. I moved all that money and I put it in the middle of the fight on Vincent Luque, I think after round and a half or two. So that was all my winning from the RDA, I decided to transfer it on Luke, and I did pretty good. Yeah, this is that parlay. This is like round robin 7. I 85. That's the first bet that I made. I put money on Cap Swanson. I mean, it is.
Do you think he won that fight?
Honestly, I thought he lost. Honestly, but like I can see also him winning. This. Not.
I mean, when you're putting money on it, you got to be extra happy that he won.
Yeah, I mean, I was good, but no. On the other side, I was getting like a pretty good opportunity to make even bigger money. This is only trying to like. I mean, I already had this bet like even weekend before that. I don't know why Cap Swanson was my first on the mind, and only one of the rare that I went like few days before. I don't know why.
Did he retire after that?
No, I don't think so. At least I didn't saw it.
I just saw a clip of the post, and he looked like he was in shambles, but maybe it's because he thought he lost or something.
No, I think he didn't. At least to my knowledge. Yeah, bro. Like you see down at all our percentages so far that we were like competing between two of us. So I'm on 48.2, you're on 53.5. And even in those percentage, there's like two draws, So probably our percentage would be even higher, So we are not bad for only picking up the main events, Sometimes it's hard. You have like 5 fights and you have to decide, So I think we're doing pretty good so far,
Yeah, especially with a lot of these close fights for the pay-per-views, where it's hard to go either way.
Yep, yeah, I agree.
But keep in mind, one of these numbers are bigger, that 53.57, Just saying.
Okay. I mean, numbers don't lie, usually.
That's true.
So, yeah, I already covered that. Who is interested can go in previous video and check it out. Like some betting combination, that was on the previous slide. We're not going to go again over it. I think that's everything that we wanted to cover for this one. Pretty late in the week. But let's see, hopefully we're going to hit some money this weekend.
Yeah, enjoy some good fights doing it.
If nothing, hopefully that for sure, So stay tuned. Soon, more stats that I'm promising already for a long time. Everything is almost done. We just need to finalize and do the presentation. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see that.
All right, sounds good. Ciao, y'all. Enjoy the fights.